And we have another update. And I just mentioned about the PvPs, by the way. I will say that Classic is a stronger all-around player, but specifically in PvP, Nightmare has been popping off. And Nightmare, he takes the 2-0 as well. In the round of 16, both Hero and Classic have fallen to Protoss players. Oof. And that is, again, some big names going down very early on in this tournament. Ay, ay, ay. The Protoss on Protoss action, the humanity, the Protosity? I don't. Stop the infighting. Stop the the Protosses. They're killing each other, man. They're killing each other. But here we go. We're getting into our next round, into our next best of 3, and spawning in the top right hand corner of Alkyone, we have the South Korean Zerg player representing DragonKaiser Gaming. It is Dark. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the South Korean Terran representing Onside Gaming. Or onside, it is Ryung. And one final update to wrap it up, as we did dive into the game, is we have Oliveira versus Firefly, which is a rematch of the ESL Masters Winter Asia Finals, and Oliveira did win it 2-0. That series has already concluded, and by the time you hear this, it's probably going to be updated as well. So Oliveira did take it in the end. GG. And with that, we are going to be settling into our next Zerg versus Terran. Again, Ryung, he was looking damn good, damn crisp against his previous opponent, but Dark is a different beast. He may be on the same team as Hyperion, they may be both on DragonKaiser Gaming, this is true, but Dark is a very different kind of Zerg player. He's a lot more aggressive, a lot more assertive, a lot more difficult to read as well. Dark, at the drop of a dime, if he sees you going for an economic opener, he's willing to go for Link Queen Nidus all-ins, or Roach openers, Roach heavy compositions, very aggressive styles. That's the kind of player that Dark is. And we'll see if Ryung can keep up and dance to the beat of Dark's drum. As for now, Hatch Gas Pool, standard opener out of Dark. Likewise, we have a Rax Expand here from Ryung. Nothing looking too crazy for the time being. Now, in the last game, we didn't really get to see anything too fancy out of Ryung. We saw different variations of 3cc before Starport. This is true. We saw a Banshee variation and a Liberator variation. But overall, very economic. And against Dark, I wouldn't be surprised if Ryung does turn up the heat a little bit more here. We have seen Dark 8 racks, we've seen Ryung 8 racks Dark before with success as well. Like, it has happened, it has occurred. So we'll see if he can do something like that again, or maybe something else up his sleeve, maybe even whip out the mech, which Ryung has done from time to time. He is a bit of a mech connoisseur. As Reaper comes in and he wants the drone, and he will get it. Drone goes down, Reaper will escape as well. Big pick off here from Ryung. Drones should not be dying, not this early on. And Dark was just a little bit too late there to morph in that Evo chamber. So nice little win here for Ryung already. He's going to be zoning that Overlord away. The Overlord did not go in far enough to see the CC. And this is going to be once again a third CC before Starport. So an economic opener out of Ryung. Is going to be economic. Outside of that, Dark, of course, just licking his wounds, droning on up. Losing one drone isn't the biggest of... I mean, it's a pretty big deal, but... it's not game-ending or game-changing here. Just a small little win for Ryung overall, as he's just building himself up. Meanwhile, there it is, early Roach Horn here from Dark. Now, we saw a Roach Horn earlier today from Hyperion, but it was much later, after the Bailey Nest, after upgrades were on the way, and it was just a way to get a handful of Ravagers to just support the army. This is very different. This is Dark looking for a Roach heavy composition to be the bulk of his army, less so a supportive unit, like Hyperion was doing. As Reaper goes down, looking at the vision, did Ryung see? He did spot the Roach Horn. Ryung is aware of what's coming his way, and going into Cloak Banshee, very good move here. 3cc Banshee is very safe against Roach compositions or Roach openers, just because Roaches, obviously, they don't shoot up. Roaches don't shoot up. We should be seeing a push, and the Banshees, they should come out just in time to deal and deflect those Roaches. Looking at the vision, Dark, he's not fully aware of what he's up against, but he knows he got scattered, so the likelihood, the chances of Ryung being ready for this is going to be much higher. as roaches are moving out. At the same time, a Hellion Rumbai being set up here on the left-hand side. A very little creep, but the queens are in position. The Hellions are forced back. Roaches are moving out, but not too many of them. Bear that in mind. I think it's only 3. Yep, 3 roaches. They get caught out, and they will be forced back. Now, because we only made 3 roaches, this was basically designed to hopefully force an overreaction. The goal here was these roaches, they rock up across the map, they chip away at the wall, and then Ryung's like, oh my god, a roach push, and then he just hunkers down, you know, he delays his CC, and he focuses on defensive play. But Ryung, he actually encountered the roaches in the center of the map, and he forced them to turn back around because there were so few of them. So Ryung, he can safely expand and take his 3rd. So far, really good opener out of Ryung. I will say that he is slightly ahead after all has kind of come to pass. Now, Dark, he is still going to be heavily reliant on these roaches when it comes to his main army, but he doesn't have too many of them yet. Only 3 roaches so far. He's going to be droning, taking more gases. And we see Ryung moving out. Can he even force a delay, force a cancel on this hatchery? We go past the hatchery, we're going straight for the drones. 1, 2 workers go down. We're going to get a 3rd worker as well. Oh, did I say 3? We're going to get more than that. So far, really good damage here. We could even try and go for a queen as well if we feel so adventurous. But now we get 5 workers. We rotate back around. Oh, no, we're not done. We're not done, mate. The queens are getting out of position. They do move out of position. 8 workers go down. We can see the queens trying to catch these banshees. They will get 1. 1 banshee for 8 workers, though. Well worth it for Ryung. A good trade. Banshee is going to retreat back home. Hellions are still vying for map control and looking for a way in. Dark did go for an earlier infestation pit, but it was just for some infestors. We're not rushing into Hive. Infestors, they do such a great job nowadays supporting this army. The fungal growths don't do a lot of damage, that's true, but they also do a great job at just shutting down the army and allowing these roaches to trade a little bit better here against a bio composition. As Ryung is fully saturated on these 3 bases, he's building up a bio tank army. Hive is now on the way. Now you may argue, like, hold up, are we rushing into a Hive? Is Dark really going to be safe enough to do so? With the infestors, yes. He has the infestors, they're gathering up energy, they already have enough energy for 1 fungal each. They're ready for it. Meanwhile, here comes the double drop at the 7-minute mark. We have a double drop on the right-hand side, we have the Hellions on the left. We're looking to kill more workers. Dark, meanwhile, he's droned up to 80 already. 1-1 is on the way. Bailing Nest as well. How much of an army do we have to defend? We have 13, 15 roaches. Hellions push in on the left-hand side. They get 3 tumors. Not bad. They will be forced back. Likewise, Ryung coming in from the right-hand side as well. Catching some more of these tumors, but there's no hatchery to shut down. I'm sure more than anything, that's more of what he was looking for. As he picks up, it goes straight for the main base. Queen is in position. And Ryung doesn't commit. And so far, Dark, he's gotten away with this. He's droned up nicely to 80. He has a Hive finishing up. This grants access to adrenal glands and vipers as well. There it is, adrenal now on the way. Aliens are being forced back. Dark rushing into ultras, actually. Bold move. It is going to be Ling Roach into ultras. Still heavily focusing on melee-based upgrades, which will work nicely for those ultras. And we'll see if they can get away with it. Again, rushing into a Hive Tech and into ultras is something very unique that you can do on maps like Alkione, on Radisson Station as well. Like, specifically this map is quite large, there's a lot of bases to take. Rush distance by ground is very long, and because of that, you can get away with some greed. Here comes the double drop. Going to be clearing up a lot of this creep. A lot of tumors do go down. Dark unable to fully shut that down either. Do we have bathing speed? Or can we do? But here we go. Ryung is maxed. And we're pushing. Behind this, we have 8 racks set up. We have a 4 CC though. So again, we're not all in by any means. We do have a 4th up and running. As Ryung pushes out, we do have Dark getting ready for a massive Ling counterattack. The planetary isn't ready. And we have fungals. Again, Dark defending with the bare minimum. The fungal will connect. Doesn't take down the Marines, but again, it does allow all these things to go for a massive counterattack. Because we have fungals, we can slow down the army. We don't need the Lings to defend. Again, another big fungal does connect. Oh, was that a kill? Oh, that was a kill, not a cancel on the 4CC, or not a lift even. Ryung, his reinforcements are getting caught out, and he's not achieving much at all with this push. It's 11 dead SCVs and a dead CC. And here we go, we're going for a full surround. Blinding clouds on the tanks. The Ling Bane with the rest of the army as well. The Marines, they will stand strong, but he lost every single tank. And we can turn around, we can fight this. Another big bungle. We have some widow mines, but it's not going to be enough. Oh my god. Some friendly fire even from the mines. Ryung gets cleaned up, and Ryung doesn't have anything behind this. He is all in. There is no 4CC. We have to, we're a little bit desperate here. We're picking up the main base, landing it as a 4th. The only way for Ryung to stay in this, personally, at this point, may as well land at the goal base. The only reason why I say that is because that's what Maru did in GSL. When he was all in, when he lost his 4th, when he needed a 4th base, just pick it up, take the gold instead. Regardless, we're taking a base, and we're trying to keep up with the economy of the Zerg. Ryung still has a decent bio army. Medevacs have been kept alive. We're pushing. Here we go. We are going to be moving on forward. Bailey's going to be hunted down as well. Oh. Bailey's, they do end up getting connections on the Widow Mines of all things, but at the same time, a big Ling counterattack as well. Ryung, he's completely all in. He has to break his opponent, but the Ultras are here to stop him. And the Ultras, they swipe away at the army. GG gets called, and Dark will take game number 1. GG. GG, well played. Dark does take that first game again, completely shutting down Ryung, forcing the all-in, getting a kill on the 4CC, and again, that's the power of the Infestor. You know, if you know that your opponent's going to be pushing into you, you can afford to send out most of your supply, or, you know, a big Ling counterattack and move that across the map, and you should be safe at home. Your opponent has to slowly move through creep and slowly move through your fungal growths as well. So, again, really good setup here from Dark. Really well executed. And with that, he does take game number 1. Here we go. We're getting into game 2. See in the chat. I'm not shocked by that. Hero's PvP has been up and down. I mean, Hero, he recently, like, he clowned all over Max Packs during the KFC finals, the Kung Fu Cup finals. It was really impressive. Like, Hero, he looked damn strong in that PvP finals. But again, it's just the nature of PvP. Like, it's difficult to be consistent in that matchup, is what I will say. I don't know if I would really put too much stock on the players' kind of like form there. But here we go. We're getting into our next game, and spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of side Delta, we have the South Korean Zerg player, the Red Zerg, representing CranKy Gaming, leading the series 1-0. It is Dark. And spawning in the top left, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Terran, representing Team Onside. It is Ryung. Here we go. See, chat, Dark is too good to die to any all-in. I think it's very important to point out as well. I apologize if I did a bad job at illustrating it. But Ryung was not intending to go all in. That's why I was putting a little bit of emphasis on like the move outs, how it was shut down, and how the all in was forced out of Ryung. It's kind of what Dark wanted. Dark, he forced the hand of Ryung, and Ryung didn't necessarily want to. He wanted a longer game, wanted a macro game out of that. Ryung, he wanted a more back and forth, and was more than happy to embrace a longer game. But Dark didn't allow that to happen. And now we are getting into game number 2. So far, CC first. Oh my god. CC first out of Ryung. Let's go. Gonna be a CC on the low ground into the racks. Now, this is something that makes sense on side Delta, just because, you know, it is more of a defensive map. But this is so risky against Dark specifically. I understand this. Like, we see CC first a lot against Solar, and it works so well against Solar because Solar just isn't really aggressive in the early game. Dark can be though, so I feel like this is a risky maneuver, but you know, it's not going to go punished. Ryung is taking a risk, and he should be able to reap the rewards. Here we go. And we go as we are just settling into this. And so far, Dark are going to be taking his third base as well. I would love to see, I see some people talking about Oliveira and Firefly. I would love to see that series. I remember we weren't able to because we were casting last night. Like, we were busy casting, so we missed out on Firefly versus Oliveira. But I'm so happy for Firefly. I'm so happy for him. Like, he did so well for himself coming into the season. Like, if you remember, both Asher and I, we were like, yeah, like Firefly, I mean, Asher said Firefly's the best Protoss player in the region. I said, man, it's either Firefly or Jeshi. They're both like the top two. But we both expected so many good things out of Firefly, and for Firefly to go all the way and come second, it's so good. It's such a strong feat for Firefly, especially considering that I feel like a lot of people don't know him. I feel like a lot of people, when they think of the Chinese region, they think of Oliveira, obviously, maybe Coffee, maybe Maxed, who's a little more of an old school player. Firefly is newer to the scene. He's a fresher face. I say newer to the scene, kind of like in the COVID era, 2020 onwards, he rose up. And I feel like a lot of people sleep on him because they don't watch WTL or they don't watch these online weekly tournaments. Like, Firefly regularly beats like Hero or like some of these other big Protoss players in PvP, for example. Like, Firefly, and in WTL, of course, he takes down Clem, he takes down Solar, takes down Cyril. So yeah, it's really cool to see Firefly like finally putting that into a premier event, right? Where Firefly, he's doing well in all these weekly tournaments and he's doing well in WTL. That's great and all, but that's able to be like actually showcased on a bigger stage with more eyes and more of an audience on him. So yeah, I'm really happy for him. Really happy for Firefly. GG. And again, you know, going down to Oliveira, I mean, he's the reigning world champion. Like, what are you going to do? Like, anyone, like, that could be anyone. That could be Max Pax dying to Oliveira. That could be Showtime dying to Oliveira. Or Hero, even. It's like, yeah, like, what are you going to do? Yeah. I'm happy for our boy. I'm happy for our boy. As we're getting into our openers, as we get into this, a big shout out to Sort of in the chat. Oh my god, Papi. Big shout out to Sort of. Thank you so much. Hope you had a great stream. Hope you had a great ladder session. I raided Sort of earlier today, and now we get the raid back. Let's go. But yeah, hope you had a good time. I remember when you were laddering earlier, you were smudging a little bit, or what was the word? You were being hammered. But I hope you did well. Hope you did well. As to now, once again, it is going to be a very different opener here. So, do have our Banshees moving out towards the south. Do have Hellions diving on top of the Queens. One Queen does get caught off of Creep. Did I say one Queen? Hey, we're gonna get a second Queen as well. Just barely the Transfuse keeps it alive. We do force back the Hellions at the same time. Banshee dips in between the bases. Doesn't get much done though. Does get forced back by the Queens. Dark able to keep up. No detection, unfortunately, but for the most part, Dark, he is minimizing his losses. Journal 2 may go down, but for the most part, Darky has held. Behind this, third CC is slowly getting up and running. We're getting into our 5-rack setup on 2 bases. Here we go, Hellions. They do threaten to dive once again. This Banshee's still looking for damage, though. Is going to be pinned here in between the bases. Infestation Pit's on the way. Dark still on 3 bases just because of all the aggression of Ryung. He has been contained, but soon he will break free from his contain. Soon, there we go. 4th base now on the way. Bailey Nest 1-1. Once again, Dark rushing into that Infestation Pit as well. Should be for a fast Hive. We saw last game this led into a fast Ultra Cavern and Ultras in general, and I imagine that's where Dark wants to take this again for a second time. Hellions, they are going to be threatening this soon to be 5th base. Again, because Dark was contained for so long, double expanding makes plenty of sense. Taking a 4th and 5th at the same time. securing himself. And Ryung is just building up towards this one big timing. Once again, Stim is done. Combat Shields is on the way. 1-1 is about to kick in. And how many tanks do we have? We're up to 2 tanks, soon to be 3. And we're pushing. We are moving out. And because Dark was being contained earlier, the creep isn't amazing here. We're connecting the bases. We're barely pushing out onto the map. Ryung, he can wedge himself in between these bases, and he can find some success here. His goal to take down this 5th. Again, very limited creep spread. We are pushing forward. We'll back off. Does get a cancel, but again, Dark did double expand, so I'm sure he's content, maybe losing a 5th, but holding on to his 4th. Expanding here towards the south instead. Speaking of, here comes the double drop towards that south. Making its way downtown. Ryung likewise clearing up a lot of this creep, taking down an Overlord. Shutting down some drones. But hasn't really been able to threaten these more important bases. Sure, denied a 5th, but I mean, we already had a 4th base. Likewise, a double drop towards the south, but Darky is in position, and yeah, Darky's really settling into this. Remember, he rushed into the Hive. The Hive is done. Adrenal's on the way. Dark is looking pretty. Good target firing, though, from Ryung. Let's take down, what, 3? Oh! 3 Bailings before being forced to pick up. Meanwhile, Ryung isn't all in. We have a 4th CC on the way. Oh, I'm loving the Burrowed Bailings. I just realized we have Burrowed Bailings all over, scattered all over the map even. Ryung has to be very careful here with his movements. Again, he's been denying bases, but not much else. Uh oh. Not like this. Don't push to the middle. Don't push to the center. Oh no! Oh my god. The juiciest connection. Dark, he was looking, and Ryung, he takes a big one to the face. At the same time, Dark, he collapses on these tanks. We'll take down the low ground. The high ground tank will stand strong, but only a single tank. The Marines will fall as well. Dark at the same time pushing on the left-hand side, getting on top of the 4th base. We saw this happen before. The Baileys, they crash into the Marines. The splits are not good enough. 10 SCVs go down. And you can see Dark, he wants to bait the army to chase. He wants him to walk over those Bailings. Oh no! Not again! Oh my god, he wasn't looking. The tank goes down, it's fine. Dark, he just finds more success elsewhere, shutting down the tank. Ryung pushing through the south. And Dark, he's stabilized here, on working on 3-3. Up to 80 workers, going for a big link counter-attack here on the left-hand side. Bailings, they connect! The splits are not there, the tank goes down, and we bust into the mineral line. At the same time, a hot pickup. Ryung, he will preserve most of his army. But he's forced to back off, and Dark, he wants that 4th base. This time interplanetary, this time, there's no lifting it. There's no evacuating. This time Ryung, he has to hold on. Dark, he wants to bait it, Papi. He wants to bait the army. He's like, oh no, Stepbro. I'm stuck. Don't come at me. As he does engage, Widow Mines are going to be borrowed. Big connections there on the Bailings. Very nice Widow Mine shots. Ryung, he does take a good fight. Does take a good fight in the end. Does hold on to his planetary, does hold on to his 4th base as well. Ryung, he is still in this. He is one step behind when it comes to his overall. Upgrades, 3-3 just now starting. The Queens, they get caught out. What are we doing here? The Queens get shut down, but again, Dark, he's got a stable enough economy. I'm surprised that we haven't teched up into an Ultra Den yet. It looks like, sorry, Ultra Cavern even. Looks like we have a Hydra Den. Soon to be a Lurker Den as well. There we go. Hydras have arrived. We finally have some anti-air. Got the Bailings. Oh my god. The Bailings, they do pop off. not like this. As we have detection, the mines do get shut down. At the same time, we have a double drop here towards the north. Not too much creep though. This time the spread is good enough. This time Ryung can thread in the base. Good target firing on those. Oh no! Did have good target firing on the Baileys, but he does take too many to the face. He's gonna get shut down. As here we go, Dark just going to be sending everything across the map. He has maxed out. We have the Vipers for those parasitic bombs. Widow Mine's not quite in position. They do now burrow, but the mineral line is compromised. Workers are going to be going down. The third base has to be lifted, and we can just dive on this army. There's nothing really stopping Dark. There just isn't enough here. Not enough on the ground. The economy has been broken. We see Ryung trying to come in from behind, but there's still so many Lings. We can just fight this. We can fight this head on, and we will. Dark shuts down the army. GG gets called, and Dark will take the series 2-0. GG. GG, well played. Again, Ryung, he had his moments this game. Oh, wait, hold on. There we go. GG, well played. Ryung, he had his moments in this game, don't get me wrong, but alas, his economy never really got going. He wasn't able to keep up with Dark. Dark, for the most part, had so much map control, had so much map presence, constantly counterattacking, threatening his opponent with borrowed Baileys all over the place and constant counterattacks, and yeah, Ryung, he just could not keep up in the end. GG. GG, well played. Very well done there by Dark. It's something very, I don't know if I want to go to say it's not unique to Dark, but Dark, he's just very fond of not just using Burrow for Lings, but Bailings as well. He's very active when it comes to using Burrow in ZvT, something that he is known for, and other players like Raynor and Cyril, they mix it in as well, don't get me wrong, but Dark, he has this flair to him, and yeah, congratulations. Congratulations, he does take the series. We'll be advancing on into the next round, and we have to take a moment here to take a breath and to go over the bracket, figure out where the hell are we.